Let me say something that might make you pause. You don't keep going back because you love them. You keep going back because your body is addicted to how that dynamic made you feel. Not the good parts, the familiar parts, the intensity, the uncertainty, the emotional highs and lows. Because if you're really honest, you've already seen the truth. You've already had the clarity. You've already said, this isn't right for me. And yet you still feel pulled back. And that's the part that confuses you. Because you think, if I know it's not right, why does it still feel so strong? So you make it mean, maybe it's meant to be. Maybe I'm not over it yet. Maybe I need more time. No, what you're feeling isn't clarity. It's conditioning. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Cherry. I'm a spiritual life coach, numerologist, and energy alchemist. And this month we're working with Energy 8, the Pranic Body, the part of you responsible for your life force, your vitality, your energy regulation, and how your system sources power. So when you feel pulled back into something, we're not just looking at emotion. We're looking at how your body has learned to generate energy. Because if your system learned to generate energy through intensity, through inconsistency, through emotional highs and lows, then calm won't feel like connection. It will feel like something is missing. Now, before we go deeper, if this is already hitting something in you, I would really love for you to hit subscribe and tap that notification bell, because this is where you stop misreading your patterns and start understanding how your energy actually works. So let's clear something up. When I say addicted to familiar pain, I'm not talking about something dramatic or extreme. I'm talking about something subtle and learned. Addiction in this context isn't about wanting pain. It's about your system becoming used to a certain emotional state, because your body doesn't prioritize what's healthy. It prioritizes what's predictable. From an Energy 8 perspective, your pranic body learns how to generate and circulate energy based on what it's repeatedly exposed to. So if your experiences have been inconsistency, emotional intensity, unpredictability, requiring you to overgive or overthink, then your system learns to associate with that. Engagement, connection, aliveness. And this is where it gets honest. What you've been calling chemistry is often just familiar activation. That pull you feel, that intensity, that sense of, I can't switch this off. That's not always alignment. That's your body saying, I recognize this pattern, which is why when something is actually calm, stable, consistent, you don't always feel safe. You feel bored, disconnected, unsure, like something is missing. And then your mind jumps in and says, there's no spark. It doesn't feel the same. Maybe it's not right. But what's actually happening is this. Your body doesn't know how to source energy from stability yet. So it goes looking for what it does know. And this creates a loop. You move away from something that drains you. Your system loses that familiar stimulation. You feel flat, unsettled, or pulled. And instead of recognizing it as withdrawal, you interpret it as, I still want them. And this is where you go back. Not because it's right, not because it's aligned, but because your system is trying to regulate itself in the only way it knows how. From a pranic body perspective, you're not being pulled by love. You're being pulled by a familiar energy pattern that hasn't been completed yet. And this is where it goes even deeper. Because once you understand the pattern, you have to look at why your system is still choosing it. So now you can see the pattern. Now you can recognize the pull, the loop, the very way your body reacts. But here's the deeper truth. Your system isn't just reacting to this pattern. It's still choosing it. And before you go into shame, let me be clear. This isn't because you're weak. This is because your body is trying to keep you safe. But safety doesn't mean healthy. Safe means familiar, predictable, known. So if your nervous system learned that connection looks like inconsistency, emotional intensity, overgiving, or needing to earn love, then that becomes your baseline for safety. And again, from an Energy 8 perspective, your pranic body isn't just looking for connection. It's looking for energy it knows how to regulate. And here's the part most people miss. You can only regulate what you've practiced. So when something is actually stable, calm, constant, consistent, respectful of your boundaries, your system doesn't automatically relax. It hesitates because it hasn't learned yet how to stay open without intensity, how to feel connected without overgiving, how to trust something that doesn't require effort to maintain. And then there's the identity piece. Because if you've been the person who fixes, holds everything together, understands everyone else, stays even when it's hard, then familiar pain doesn't just feel normal. It feels like who you are. And I'm going to say this honestly. If you only feel connected when you're needed, that's not connection. That's conditioning. There's also control in this because familiar patterns are predictable. You know how they play out. You know how to respond. You know your role, but healthy dynamics, they require you to be present, not performative. And that can feel uncomfortable because there's nothing to fix, nothing to prove, nothing to chase. So when you feel that pullback, it's not because that situation is right for you. It's because your system is trying to return to something it understands. And this is the shift. You're not drawn to what's best for you. You're drawn to what you've practiced regulating. And this is where everything changes. Because once you see that, you can stop automatically following it. But you don't break this pattern in your head. You break it in your body. So now you understand the pattern. Can you see the loop? Can you recognize the pull when it starts? But here's the truth. That doesn't stop it. Because the moment that feeling hits your body, everything you understand gets overridden. And this is why you've probably had moments where you said, I'm not doing this again. I know better now. I've learned my lesson. And then you still went back. Not because you didn't know, because your body didn't know how to stay. So what you're doing here is not trying to get rid of the feeling. We're teaching your system. I can feel this and I don't have to act on it because that's the skill. Not avoiding the pull, but not following it. So let's bring this into your body right now. Not later, not when it's easier, now. Sit comfortably, drop your shoulders slightly, place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4, 2, 3, 4. And exhale for 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, inhale slowly through your nose for 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4, 2, 3, 4. And exhale for 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now gently bring your mind to the person or situation, the one you feel pulled back to. Notice what happens in your body, the tightening, the pull, the urge to reach out, the mental noise starting. That sensation, that's the moment you usually react. But this time, you're not moving. You're not fixing. You're not chasing relief. You're staying and you're breathing through it. Because what you're feeling right now is not a sign to go back. It's activation. It's your system recognizing a familiar pattern and trying to return to it. And as you breathe, I want you to say internally, this is uncomfortable, but it's safe. I don't need to act on this. I can stay with myself. Let your body hear that. Stay with the breath for a few more rounds. Inhale, hold, and then exhale longer than you inhale. And notice, even if it's subtle, the intensity starts to shift. That's capacity. This is the moment most people avoid because it's easier to go back than it is to sit here. But every time you go back, you reset the loop. Every time you stay, you weaken it. What you just did is how the pattern breaks. Not by forcing yourself to move on, but by teaching your body it doesn't need that pattern to regulate. The version of you who is no longer stuck in this isn't someone who never feels the pull. They do, but they don't follow it. They stay. They breathe. They let it pass. And when you start doing that consistently, something powerful happens. You stop needing what used to control you. So now that you've felt it, not just understood it, but actually experienced what it's like to stay without going back. And this is where it becomes real, because it's not about doing that once. It's about what you do the next time the pull hits. So this week, I don't want you to overcomplicate this. Just notice when the urge comes up, when your mind starts creating stories, when your body feels that pull, instead of reacting, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, is this aligned or is this familiarity? Because those two things are not the same. Familiar feels strong. Alignment feels steady. And most people keep choosing what feels strong without realizing it's just what they've practiced. From an energy ache perspective, every time you don't go back, every time you don't feed that pattern, you reclaim energy, your energy that was being used to overthink, chase, hold on to something that wasn't right. That energy doesn't disappear. It comes back into your system. And that's when things start to change. Not because you forced it, but because you're no longer draining yourself. You start to feel clearer, more stable, less reactive, more in control of your choices. The version of you who breaks this pattern isn't someone who never feels the pull. They're someone who recognizes it, understands it, and doesn't follow it. They trust themselves to stay, even when it's uncomfortable. And if you keep doing this, you won't need as much effort to move on because you won't feel the same pull. Not because you forced yourself to forget, but because your body no longer needs that pattern to regulate. As we come to the end of today's video, I'd like to leave you with one final thought. Understanding energy is powerful. Understanding your own energy is transformational. If you've enjoyed today's video and you'd like to continue exploring spirituality, numerology, the 10 energy bodies, and practical tools to help you heal, grow, and step into your authentic power, then I'd love for you to hit subscribe and tap that notification bell. That way you'll never miss the next video as we continue on this journey together. That's why I love numerology so much. It gives you a personalized roadmap that helps you understand who you are, why certain patterns keep repeating, and what your soul is inviting you to learn in this lifetime. If you're just beginning your numerology journey, make sure you download my free Numerology Quick Guide using the link in the description box below. It's the perfect place to start discovering the wisdom hidden within your birth date. And when you're ready to uncover the deeper story behind your numbers, I'd love to create your personalized numerology report, where I personally decode your unique energetic blueprint and show you how to work with your energy instead of constantly working against it. Before you leave, I'd love to hear from you. What was your biggest insight or breakthrough from today's video? Let me know in the comments below, because I do read them. And your experiences not only inspire me, but they help shape future videos. Remember, your energy isn't random. Your life isn't random. And your numbers aren't random either. They're part of the blueprint your soul chose before you were born. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Until next time, keep honoring your energy, keep trusting your intuition, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.